Marc Slis from Houghton, Michigan. See here, Mark? All right. And why don't you come up, explain who you are, and why you're here today, and maybe how long you drove to get here.
Thank you for inviting me. My name is Marc Slis. I'm from Houghton, Michigan. I drove 501 miles to get here. I believe I own the furthest vape shop from the Capitol. I'm also not a public speaker. I'm very nervous, so I will apologize in advance. I'm just going to read a small prepared statement here. I reside in Hancock, Michigan. I'm a lifelong resident of this state. I'm a 55-year-old father of 3, a dentist, a nurse, and soon-to-be doctor. I'm a college graduate, a scientist. I own 2 businesses in the state, an international geophysical consulting firm that I started in 2009, and a vape shop I purchased in 2015. I smoked for 41 years. You can probably hear it in my voice. I spent 30 of those years trying to quit with every available method I could find, not just in this country, but in other countries, because I worked abroad, including hypnosis. I tried all of these things multiple times, nonstop, for 30 years, and failed every single time. I don't think I ever quit for even one day over 30 years. Not my wife, my children pleading with me to quit worked. My doctors, I've always had a team of doctors. I work in a dangerous environment, and they watch your health very carefully. Them telling me that I would die did not help. Nothing helped. In March of 2014, I noticed a new business in Houghton, downtown Houghton, and I just popped my head in to see what it was. And there was a 19-year-old young man behind the counter, and he told me that they sold electronic cigarettes. And he invited me in. 20 minutes later, I walked out a non-smoker. That was 100% due to the flavors. I've tried everything. Nothing worked. It was the flavors. In fact, I even tried an unflavored nicotine manual cigarette, which was just a nicotine-soaked sponge that you drew on. It did not work. So a 19-year-old kid with a high school education did what nobody else could do, what government couldn't do, what public health couldn't do, what the medical community couldn't do in 30 years, get me to quit smoking. It didn't cost the state or the federal government a dime. It was a simple explanation, and it worked, and a simple product. From where you sit, that it didn't cost the state anything, you should know that. A year and a half later, I bought that shop that saved my life. In the next 4 years, I've saved about 1,000 lives. I've saved 1,000 people from smoking. They've permanently quit, and that's who I'm here to represent. And those people I haven't yet reached. Those 1,000 people, they're all from Houghton County. It has a population of roughly 36,000 people according to the U.S. Census. So the people that I've helped to quit and helped to save their own lives, that's 2.7% of the total population of my county. Not just adults, that's 2.7%. I don't know what percentage of adults. I didn't look that far. I can't imagine anybody not seeing that as not only significant, but extraordinary. I defy anybody in my county to say that they've helped to save that many lives, including the doctors. That's a lot of people in 4 years. My current customers include nurses, doctors, officers from every single local police department, the state police post, even a chief of police. Excuse me. Multiple business owners, firemen, first responders, teachers, elected officials, most importantly, dozens of veterans. And these people are all grandmothers, grandfathers, yes, that old, fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters. They're my friends and my neighbors. There's nowhere I can go in Houghton County and not run into a customer or a former customer who is still not smoking. It happens every day. I'm extremely proud of this, extremely. Helping these people to save their own lives has been the most rewarding experience of my life by far, outside of raising my 3 children, of course, especially if they're listening. And now our governor seeks to make that a crime punishable by 6 months in prison. These orders also make it a crime for my customers to have more than 4 bottles of a flavored liquid, punishable by 6 months in prison. All of my customers, every one of them, walk around with 3 or 4 bottles of different flavors. To the flavors themselves, because that's why we're here. All my customers have 3 things in common. They are adults, they are desperate to quit smoking after years, if not decades, of failing, and they all use flavors. The numbers in my shop are that 99% of my customers use flavors. The flavors are absolutely necessary, and they are the key to quitting smoking. The single largest killer of humans in this state, in this country, and on this planet. I don't know why that's not being taken into greater consideration with these orders. We carry 80 flavors at my shop. All of them are chosen by my customers, not me. All of my customers are adults. One example, the favorite flavor of my oldest customer, or at least the one I was brave enough to ask, she was an 87-year-old grandmother. Her favorite flavor, the flavor that she quit smoking with, is Fruity Pebbles cereal. She's 87 years old. That was her choice. I've heard people up there say that adults don't do these flavors. That's not true. I have 80 flavors chosen by adults. Not one of them chose tobacco flavored, the only one that will be left. So the result of this is, for me, if the governor's order stands and flavors are banned, I will immediately go out of business and file for bankruptcy, no question. I've already talked to my accountant and my lawyer, and they agree. It's over. I think my experience will be mirrored across this state, and you'll see every vape shop close up, and owners file for bankruptcy, and employees be fired, lose their jobs. You won't just be banning flavors, you'll be banning a life-saving industry from this state, guaranteed. The result of that will be that everybody who's currently trying to quit will be forced back to smoking and trying to quit again. The other available methods have a 93% failure rate. That's what you will doom these people to. That's unforgivable. That is absolutely unforgivable. My customers, in comparison, they enjoy an 80 to 90% success rate, the exact opposite. I know I'm saving lives. I'm getting these people to quit at those kind of numbers, and you will doom them to a 93% failure rate. And a good chance, I think the statistic is half the people that smoke die from smoking in this country. That is 480,000 people a year, 3,100 a day. That's huge. Those people are not being considered with this order at all. I'd like to delve into the science. I'm a scientist first, but I know I don't have the time. The only other thing I'd like to say is, and I don't know if it was brought up by the gentleman previously from England, but the difference in public health between here and there is the government not only encourages it, the Royal College of Physicians, Public Health England, They are now currently opening up vape shops in their hospitals. I think the people in this country, the decision makers, the regulators, they're being deceived. The science is out there. This has been studied for a long time. They're not making a mistake in England putting vape shops in hospitals. They know it works. They know it saves lives. As already been stated, harm reduction it works, and that's being ignored with this order.
Representative Lefebvre has a question, and then we'll move on to the next.
Yeah,
And,
thank you,
and
Mr. Chair.
also, Carrie Brunel, if you're here, we're going to put you on next.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Sir, I just wanted to say from one Uber to another, welcome to the Capitol. We're very glad you could make it. We could fit you in today.
Thank you. It's my
My-
first visit.
Well, it's a long drive, and the construction on the way here is not making it any easier. But
Definitely.
my only question I have is how many people are employed by your business?
Just one. Most of us in this industry, in the state and nationwide, are small businesses. And that's a problem because it makes it difficult for us to have our voices heard. That's why I'm here. I employ one guy. In fact, I employed the guy who helped to save my life all those years ago when I walked in that shop, when I poked my head in. I still employ him. He's still there.
I'm not going to ask you how much you pay him, but you do pay him
Not
above
enough.
the table, right?
Not enough. I can't pay him enough. I can't pay him enough for saving my life to begin with. I was told by my doctor I would not be here today if it wasn't for electronic cigarettes. I smoked for 41 years, and there was no hope of quitting. I would not be sitting in front of you today had I not found electronic cigarettes, had that kid not saved my life.
And if you go out of business, he's going to stop paying income tax, isn't he?
Yes, he's also not going to be able to pay for his college degree. He's currently in college. That was one of the stipulations that he continued working with me, is that he went to college. He will not be able to afford to do that. If you've ever been to Houghton Hancock area, the Keweenaw, it's economically depressed. It's difficult to find a job there. I'll be facing the same thing very soon. And I'd also like to state on a personal level, my shop and what I do in saving lives, which is now about to be criminalized. That was paying for my daughter's college tuition. When the news of this broke, I walked down in the morning and I wanted to talk to her before anybody else told her. She was on her way to her second day of classes at Michigan Technological University in pre-med. She wants to be a doctor. And I had to tell her that if this goes through, I can't afford your college tuition. And that will kill her dream of being a doctor.
Sir,
I can't say anything else about that.
all I can say is that your representative, Greg Markin, and myself are going to do everything we can to make sure you can let your daughter go to college and keep your vape shop open. And these rules are going to kill small business owners like you, and it cannot get into effect for 6 minutes, let alone 6 months.
6 months, it doesn't matter. There will be nobody left in 6 months. There's an excellent example of a 6-month ban in this country, and most people at least know of the reason why it happened. The Deepwater Horizon. Does everybody remember that? It blew up, burned, sank, 11 people died. Well, I was there. I was on a ship. I was a quarter mile away when it happened. The response to that was a 6-month moratorium on drilling and exploration in the United States. That's not what it turned out to be. Every single oil rig, drilling rig that was currently in the United States, as soon as they were done, they packed up and left, and they never came back. It was not economically feasible. It costs too much to run a rig. They have to be in operation. That 6-month ban was not a 6-month ban. It was darn near permanent. I work in the oil industry, or at least I did until I started my vape shop, and I let my consulting firm lapse because this was more important. Like I said, I was there, I was working. I never worked in the United States again in oil. Gone.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony today, and we appreciate you coming all the way from up north, so thank
It's a
you.
matter of life and death. I appreciated the opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you. We'll call up